Everybody doing? Assalamu alaikum. This is Brother Clifton, Raheem, Bradley. Assalamu alaikum to everybody. You're looking at the Underground Railroad, you say internet show, but we have a television show that comes on in the United States, Chicago, Illinois, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I see my guest is there, but I want to let y'all know what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Ramadan. And each Muslim has their own feelings about Ramadan. And you know what? And this brother we did a television show talking about the end of time that will be on this Saturday, the next Saturday. What's today? Today is the 20th. Today is the 3rd. So this is Ramadan. So Ramadan Mubarak. And I'm going to let him come in with no further ado. This is a brother that has been working tirelessly, and he's with the Flaming Crescent Society. Great organization. I'm a member. I'm limited. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, Mark.
Walaikum salam, my kid.
Turn that music off. Because some Muslims understand that it's haram, okay? But some don't think so. But you know what? That's up to them.
Right.
That's up to them. But you know what, brother? I want to thank you, first of all, for consenting to come on the show, come on the Underground Railroad television show to talk about Ramadan and what does Ramadan mean to you. This is Brother Tyron Perry, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to his Facebook page in the description. And like I say, he is an officer. He's a leader also a leader in the Flaming Crescent Society. So introduce yourself, brother. Ramadan Mubarak and Assalamu alaikum.
All right. Walaikum salam, Ramadan Kareem. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I'm Minister Tyron Perry, a proud member of the Flaming Crescent Society. And by the way, Brother Cliff, thanks for the invite again, too. You know, and we at the Flaming Crescent Society, who was established by Minister Salim Abdul Khalid, one of my mentors. Mm-hmm. He started the Flaming Crescent Society in remembrance of Malcolm X.
Which side is better for me? It doesn't make a difference. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The Flaming Crescent Society was established for the remembrance of Malcolm X, mm-hmm. and for the two things positive in the Black community. You know, mm-hmm. That's basically what it is. I'm a proud member of that, and that's basically what I got going on.
And you know, I want to tell people, you know what, because it's all about sharing. I want y'all to tune in to, what's the name of Brother Salim's show? The Spitting the Truth. What's the name of
it? The Truth Spitters. The Truth Spitters podcast. Come on every Saturday, 5:00 Pacific time, 7:00 Central time, 8:00 Eastern time.
And you know what? Tune in. People that watch the Underground Railroad, see, I believe in sharing, and I understand that I'm not, no matter what I try to withhold, Allah's going to give it to me, whatever Allah doesn't want you to. So I believe in sharing. And you know what? My little audience, if you would tune in to his show, and David Coss, see, and in the manner, Minister Ben Willis.
Minister Ben, that's another one of my mentors right there. That brother, he thorough.
Mm-hmm. Alhamdulillah. These are shows to tune into. But I want to ask you, brother, first of all, how did you, we don't get to Ramadan. Why did you become a Muslim?
All right.
Was expecting that, I know.
No, it's fine. Well, before I knew anything about Islam, Muslim, or anything, it was this young lady that I used to date, and she's still a very good friend of mine right to this day, one of my great friends. Mm-hmm. And she was doing some work for this person. He was in a car accident, and he had got paralyzed.
Yes.
And he had asked her to meet me. She was
Yeah.
like, he was like, yeah, I want to meet your new guy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So she introduced me to him, and he just asked me one time. He just asked me. He was like, "Do you believe Elijah Muhammad is still alive?" And I'm like, "Who is Elijah? Who is that?" I didn't even know who Elijah Muhammad was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he started explaining things to me, and he gave me a Holy Quran, which I still have to this day. And this been over 30 years ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he gave me the book Our Savior Has Arrived.
Yes.
And that was the beginning of my journey into Islam, and eventually, I came to Sunni Islam, which most would say what we practice. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like to call it that. I just consider myself a Muslim. I don't consider myself no particular sect or whatever.
Well, you know that, you know what, that's right. But there is a distinction between the
Yeah,
Sunni and the Shiite.
yeah,
But this is Ramadan, so I'm not even gonna really get
right.
off into that.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Yeah, me either. I don't. I always ask people. What was the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him? What was him? Was he a Sunni? Was he a Shiite?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Yeah. I'm not going. Like
so
I
I
said.
don't.
Hmm. Hmm. And you know what, brother? I want to ask you. You got Muslims Ramadan. What? Okay, there are Muslims that are not eating. They got clear thoughts in it. What are they doing, man? I mean, what are they doing? What is Ramadan, and what does the word Ramadan mean? What is the etymology of the word Ramadan?
I was just looking at it. Most people it is fasting, but it's more to it than just fasting from food. You To me, it's more so getting closer to the Creator. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the one who demanded us to do this. He ordered us to do this. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, when I first started fasting some 20 some years ago, it was more about the food. The other stuff I really wasn't. But as years went by, I'm like, yo, it's more to this. It's more to this Ramadan than just fasting from food and water and the other things. You
Okay.
know, your behavior. You like any type of vices that you had or that you have prior to Ramadan, and these is my own personal things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm
try
trying
to
to get a clear
I try
picture. Go get out this darkness. Go ahead, brother.
I
Okay.
try to alleviate that.
Mm-hmm.
Bad
Mm-hmm.
grammar, if you got that, cursing, whatever, any type of vice that you may have, you know, and even my eating habits change. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'd be on a more I eat a vegetarian diet pretty much during Ramadan. I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
vegan or a vegetarian, but I do eat mostly vegetarian foods.
Mm-hmm.
But during Ramadan, I try to be strictly with that. You know,
Yes. Yes. And you know what? And you know what? Ramadan occurs every single year.
yeah, the
Okay.
ninth month of the
What
Islamic
you know
calendar.
what? What is Ramadan? What is it symbolic of? I know what it is, but I'm asking you, what is it symbolic of?
I'm trying to think of a symbolic. For you to
What's
like,
symbolic?
it's people that's starving and thirsty all year round.
Mm-hmm.
Like they not when it ain't got to be Ramadan and they got to fast because of circumstances, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could put like during Ramadan, I could simplify with them. I could get in more tune how they might feel without having nothing to eat. Like or nothing to drink, being more like, oh man, I can feel a pain. Even
Mm-hmm.
though we just doing this for 30 days, they got to continue to doing this after the Ramadan is over with.
But I would like to ask you, is it not symbolic of the night that Prophet Muhammad, when he was in the caves of Hira, was revealed Islam? I'm
Yeah,
asking.
well, the ninth month of the Ramadan that's when the Quran was revealed to him in the month of Ramadan.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that right
And,
there.
and you know what? Why does the date change every single year for Ramadan? Why?
Because we on the lunar calendar. Islam is on the lunar calendar. It ain't the
What is a lunar calendar? What do you mean lunar calendar? There's somebody doesn't they understand? What is a lunar?
Well, it goes by the sighting of the moon, the crescent, and it comes
Mm-hmm.
like every 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
like in the Islamic year, it's like 1442 or something. I'm not for sure, but quite year. But yeah, this prior to the Europeans coming, this basically how the majority of the world lived their life according to the lunar calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
As we talk about that, is it obligatory? Is it necessary that a Muslim, okay, observe Ramadan and observe the fast? Is it mandatory?
Oh yes, it's one of the five pillars of Islam. It's
What are the
only
five pillars of Islam?
you got
One
the
God.
zakat. Did you pay you give your donations? You take you got Ramadan. You
Mm-hmm.
got your salat. Um, you got to take your man. Shit, I'm having a brain freeze now. When you make your
Okay, I
declaration, when you
want
make
me to
your
help.
yeah,
I have to help. You know what is believing in one God. All
yeah.
praise to Allah.
You
And you know what? Pan is a cut. I'm not going in the proper order. Hell,
yeah,
I'm
no,
writing it down. Okay, I'm writing it down as I'm talking. Pan is a cut. Okay, going to the Hajj if you can
yeah.
afford
Hajj,
it,
once in a lifetime.
and give another money. What is the when you give her the money at the end?
Zakat,
Let me see.
zakat,
Yes,
shahada. The shahada is the first one. That's what you take your shahada. That's for for,
decoration.
for y'all don't know non-Muslim. The shahada is what you take to become Muslim or to
Mm-hmm.
revert back to your natural way of being.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Mm-hmm.
you bear witness there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger.
And you know what? When we talk about this, I would like to ask you: is it obligatory? Do you have to? Or can you just say, "Oh man, forget it. I'm not going to pay no attention to that."
No,
And
okay,
what are the reasons?
okay, yeah. There's only certain reasons. Well, first of all, you got to be of age, most like from 12 years old and up. And if you got any type of illnesses or sicknesses, then you're not obligated. Females, if you're menstruating, you don't have to. And if you're traveling, you don't have to. But if you're traveling, you don't have to while you're traveling. But when you get back, you should make those days up that you missed
Mm-hmm.
when you was
Mm-hmm.
traveling.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Now I'm gonna go back to ask you something else, brother. Tell us a little something about the Flaming Crescent Society and why people should join it, and then we're gonna come back to Ramadan. Okay.
All right. Well, the Flaming Crescent Society is al haq. That's a Muslim. That's an Arabic word that means it's the truth. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's what we teach. We is a Muslim organization, but you don't have to be a Muslim to join this organization because we're about our family, our black family first, our people.
Mm-hmm.
Uplifting. We the in this society that we living in, black people is pretty much is at the bottom, and a lot of us got low self esteem about ourselves. We're just trying to uplift, black people. We a lot of us is misled. This world we in, this dunya we live in, man, it's got a lot of our people lost, deaf, dumb,
Mm-hmm.
and blind. And we just trying to bring them out of that. You know what I'm saying?
And
One of my
as you make that a statement, do you embrace Muslims of different color? Because I heard you use the word people of color.
yeah.
Do we embrace other people of
Oh
color?
yeah, yeah. We
Okay,
ain't no discriminatory with us.
okay.
We about righteousness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Righteousness is the key. It ain't
Mm-hmm.
in Islam ain't no color thing. That's we don't look at color. We look at your heart and your
Mm-hmm.
sincerity.
Mm-hmm.
So and you
Mm-hmm.
like if you're a righteous person, and I prefer like black people because me being black, and we got the hardest struggle in this country, despite what some might say. It ain't no equal to the struggle that we have or done had. Ain't no other type of my so-called minority people could try to latch on to the suffering that our people been through in this country. Though that's what they try to do.
You got a message in the chat room, my brother. It
Yeah, I
says,
see. Brother James, Minister Ben Willis's brother. Yeah, thank you. He a proud member of the Flaming Crescent Society too.
I gotta have it, brother James. I gotta have you on one day. Okay, I gotta have you on one day. I'll try to get in contact. I'll get in contact with your brother, inshallah, to get your views. But go ahead, brother. What is he saying? Assalamu alaikum, host, minister. Okay,
Brother,
senior minister, brother of the Flaming Crescent Society, brother Terry.
He preferring to me, but I got it. I understand. He spelt my name wrong, but that's all good. But yeah, the Flaming Crescent Society, man, we give dawah to try to get people to understand what this deen is all about, and so they, because there's a lot of misinterpretations about Islam. A lot of people get their information about what Islam is all about is from television for the most part. And a lot of people confuse being a Muslim in Islam. See, Islam is the perfect way of life for all humanity. A Muslim is just a person who practices that way as best they can. So being a Muslim that's practicing his best way of life, we gonna make mistakes down the line.
Yeah.
So we should ask Allah for forgiveness when we does that on a constant basis, because we're not perfect. So, and certain people, they take culture. They take certain people culture as the way of life, like the beard, the kufis and things like that, the dress. Like, we not Arabs. I'm not from an Arab country. I'm from America. I'm from the hood. So now in certain situations, I might put on certain things that'll let you know, okay, this is the way he is. But for the most part, I just wear regular clothes. But that don't. I'm still Muslim, no matter how I dress.
Alhamdulillah. You know what? When you say Ramadan is fasting, I would like to ask you, and I think you answered it already. Are children required to go through Ramadan if they're not a majority age?
No, if you ain't at the age of maturity, you're not obligated to fast. But some try, and I try to encourage because fasting is a thing that's good for your health.
Yes.
All of the spiritual books, the religious books or whatever, fasting was something that all the people did. It's a good thing,
Yeah.
Cleanse your system out. Me personally, I get more energetic during Ramadan myself.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something now. It seems like that's the only way I can lose weight, but we're not doing this to lose no weight.
No,
we're doing this for the sake of Allah.
Right. Now, I'm saying this to non-Muslims. See, anything I do is for Allah. Anything like I said, anything good that I can accomplish or help somebody, all praises due to Allah. And anything bad is on me. So,
and you know what, brother? I would like to ask you something. I see you mentioned something in one of the pillars, and I would like to know, why is it necessary to go to the Hajj one time in your life if you can afford it? Why is it obligatory if you can afford it? Why? Can you explain? What does going to the Hajj entail?
Well, first, then Allah asks us to do that to pay homage to Himself, despite what some people might think. Hajj is the pilgrimage is to Mecca, the holy city, where the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born. And you got the Kaaba. And despite what people think, Muslims don't go and worship the Kaaba. It's just symbolic. We make the 7 circles around it. Because the first person to make Hajj was Ishmael, mom, and him, and his mom.
Hagar.
Hagar made they the ones made the first pilgrimage when she was in the desert, and she made the 7 circles around. So
Mm-hmm.
that and that's
Mm-hmm.
that's what that was to show going basically Hajj is is showing love and respect to Allah for what they had to go through.
But let me ask you something. When we talk about the Hajj, I'm asking you, if an individual is sick and they have the money, can somebody else make the pilgrimage for them?
Oh yeah, that'd be almost like a double blessing. Just say for instance, I want to go to Hajj, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I come down with some type of illness and can't make it. And I'm like, you know what, Cliff? I'm gonna send you in my place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
So
I'm
you
I'm
can.
I'm, I'm gonna send
Mm-hmm.
you. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
send you. To,
And you know what? The Hajj. What is it? What is it symbolic of? You made the statement that they circumvent and they circle around the Kaaba 7 times. And what is the Kaaba for people that don't know?
well, it's the how can I explain this? It's the black stone in Mecca, and it was first created by Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Adam was the first one in the
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say created the Kaaba,
Mm-hmm.
but he was the first one to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him,
It
came,
was not.
he was,
You see, it was not Abraham. It was Adam.
mhm.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
But and this is from my knowledge. If I had any mistakes, forgive me.
Okay.
And the Prophet Muhammad, what he did one time, the black stone, and this is when you had the non-believers at the time. The black
Mm-hmm.
stone was off. It was out of it wasn't in its proper place. And
Mm-hmm.
you had some elders that wanted to put it back. You had 4 elders, and they always like, I want to put it back in its place, and they always arguing over who should put it back in its place.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
Prophet Muhammad put the black stone on a blanket and told for each one of them to grab each end of the blanket, so all of them could be part of putting it back in the place, putting it back in its
Alhamdulillah.
place.
Mm-hmm. Now, what is it? You know what the place of worship that is constructed, and then they're circling around it. What is that? It's black,
Yeah,
and they're circling around. What is that?
that's the Kaaba. That's the holiest shrine in Islam in Mecca.
Okay, and and my other question is to I'm saying them circling the Kaaba. What does that represent?
From my knowledge, is the when Hagar and Ishmael was in the desert searching for water,
Mm-hmm.
and the Mount fountain of Zemzem emerged. When they walked around it 7 times before it
Okay,
sprang up. From my knowledge.
okay. And you know what and you know what, for people out here that are thinking about following Islam, we encourage you to follow Islam because this is our duty. Our duty is to propagate the religion. Okay. And in the end, you have a money, you have a car, you got a wife, you got gold, you got silver. In the end, these things will not save you from the hellfires. They
No,
will not.
no,
And when you talk about the 5 pillars of Islam, one is believing in one God. And I would like for you to elaborate on that. You said no one can intercede.
no, sir.
There are no sons and no daughters.
No.
What exactly do you mean believing in one God? What does that pillar mean?
There's only one universal force. And there's no beginning, no ending. Allah has always been. It's He created everything in existence. Like he needs no intersector. He that's why he's Allah Ta'ala, God the Most High. There's none above him. He don't
So,
need us, we need him.
so we are not the sons and daughters of Allah. And Allah
No,
has
no,
no sons or
no.
daughters. So,
Allah don't even have no body parts to even create a son.
alhamdulillah. And one of the other pillars is praying, making salat. So why must a Muslim pray 5 times a day? Can he? And if he slip up and get lazy, is he a bad Muslim?
No, they make them human. But the 5 prayers a day, okay. Prayer's always been a part of a supplication to the Most High. We ask him for forgiveness and blessings and things like that. But the 5 prayers come with the Prophet Musa, may peace be upon him.
And Musa, could you say that in English? Because there may be
Moses.
Okay.
And he went up. Allah brought him up into the 7th heaven, and he commanded them. He was like, make the people pray 50 times a day.
Yes.
He told, he was like, shoot, 50 times, that'd be too much. And he broke it down to some old, I can't remember the exact numbers, but eventually it got to 5, and that was the agreed upon times of prayer. And you got select times when to make the salat. Certain you got the 5 prayers.
And when we talk about Islam, there's something called zakat. Can you elaborate on the word zakat? And why do we have to give money like that? What is zakat?
Zakat is a
Why
charity.
is it obligatory just to give? I think 2.5% of our of our earnings.
Yeah. It's not a lot. Well, it's in society during the Islamic time until now, or from the beginning of time until now, you always had a part of society who was like poor and couldn't really, provide for their families and things like that. So the zakat was commanded for, so you wouldn't to take care of the people that was poor,
Yes.
So the haves, you wouldn't have too many have-nots. So the haves would have to do something for the so-called have-nots, so they wouldn't be in the despair, And the zakat, is given. Basically, is you taking something from the rich, giving it to the poor.
Okay. Is there a problem in society where 1 or 2% of the population own the majority of the wealth? Is that a problem?
That's a big problem. That's like, in my eyes, like that's like a monopoly. You know what I'm saying? And monopolies is that's haram in Islam and even illegal in this society we living in right now.
Okay. So you know what we covered: believing in Allah, making our salats, and also making our prayers, and then taking the Hajj. We forgetting one. You know what? May Allah forgive me. One of the pillars of Islam. We forgetting one. And you know what? But you know
Shahada.
what? Huh?
Shahada.
Oh yes, shahada. Yeah, I don't. Yes. What is that?
That's when you make your declaration.
Okay.
You say, Ashhadu
You know what?
Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. When you say there's no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger.
There's talk by people that don't really understand Islam, and they believe that we do not love Esau, we do not love Jesus. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, in Islam, as I was taught, you can't be a Muslim without accepting Jesus as a prophet. The problem is with most people, they look at Jesus as more than being a prophet. They look at, in the Christian religion, they look at him as being the son of God or an equivalent of God. And one of the main things Allah said, worship no divinity but me. I'm the creator. There's none worthy worship but Allah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you can't worship nothing other than him.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing that, you know what I'm saying? You blaspheme, they call it Shrek.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Ramadan is just so important. And like I say, I'm gonna make it to my grill prayer tonight. I'm not gonna say pig out, but I don't eat. We Muslims don't dine on swine.
Nah.
But I like that. I like that. It's like two more questions I want to ask. One thing I want to ask you is, I would like to know if you would like to send a message to Muslims overseas that are being persecuted, like in China. They're being sent to jail because of their belief in Islam, and they're harassing uh, Islam. Was Islam for the UK, and they're oppressing Muslims in other nations right now. Can you give them some type of words of hope
Yeah, stay
from America?
steadfast. Stay steadfast. Allah's on your side, and He ain't gonna betray you. He ain't gonna let you down. Uh, you you stand with Allah, you're gonna be victorious in the end. No matter what, no matter how it might look, how bad it might look at this time, but you keep Allah in your heart and you do what He say, and you will prevail in this situation. No
Mm-hmm.
matter and Allah knows best for all
Mm-hmm.
humanity. So whatever happens is His will.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And you know what, brother? I'm gonna have you. You know what the show that we did, inshallah. I'm gonna play that tonight because you did a show with me talking about the signs of the end of time that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. What are the signs of the end of time? What are the
Well,
signs?
one of the main things, and I was just speaking about this the other day with my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
You will have people who would appear to have on clothes but will be naked.
Yeah.
And what you're seeing a lot of today, particularly with females,
Mm-hmm.
they out here in public with clothes that they normally would be wearing in private.
Yes.
Like stuff that you would normally would wear under their clothes outside.
Yes.
And now they coming out in public with this. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, man, she look like she don't got no clothes on. But she out in the public.
Yeah. Yeah. She said, yeah. And what's up the sign?
Another sign is men laying with men, and this thing right here, and this is not me. Allah says this, homosexuality is haram. A man shouldn't lay with another man, and a woman shouldn't lay with another woman. Now, I'm not the one to try to persecute a person for their sexual being or whatever. My thing is this society is trying to push that on us like it's normal.
Yes.
And is that's not. And another thing too, like I said earlier, the LGBTQ or whatever they is, I don't know they
Oh,
want
they want to talk about you.
they
Hey,
no, but
can
they,
I
they
say
want to try to
something?
latch on.
Can I
Latch,
say something? Can I say something? I don't want to say nothing about it because YouTube and already got on me about that.
right. I look, ain't nothing. I never anything bringing harm to anybody like that. That's a no. You can't because that's what they prefer to be, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
they pushing that on our people, and it can be confusing.
yeah,
That could
yeah.
be confusing right there. But I digress on that. But that's another sign of the end of the time right there.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? You know what? I want to show the listening audience. I did a show with him, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play some of it. But it will be on this Saturday. I don't have the date in front of me. Today is April.
What is
I
that
mean
like
the
the
third, but it will
eighth or
be
the ninth or
on.
something?
Yes, it will be on next week. I forgot the dates, but I will put the link there. But I want y'all to see this because he was talking about the end of time, and I'm going to play it, okay? Y'all just be patient, okay? Thank you.
Building mosques, not specifically for the religion, to show off how grand it is and how much money their community has out of pride and boasting. But do you find that to be true, what Prophet Muhammad said?
Oh yeah, it's funny you brought that one up because a brother of mine, he was like, a Muslim brother. He was like, "Shoot, the masjid is starting to be like the church on Sunday, you know." You done left the true reason of this deen. You done let the world change your way of thinking about what this is all about. You know, you want to be, like you said, building a bigger mosque than anybody. I don't have the biggest mosque than this person right here. You know, that's where your ego come into this. You know, so more you doing stuff like that, the farther you're getting away from the deen, because that ain't what you don't build the mosque so big and say, oh, I got the biggest masjid. What you doing to help the people?
In the end times, people will dance late into the night. Muslim men will resemble unbelieving men. Muslims will slowly, but deeply, appropriate the traditions and ways of the Christians. Believers turn into unbelievers and will sell their religion for non-essential things of this world. Women who will be dressed yet will appear to be naked. They will seduce men and will be inclined towards them. With something on their heads that looks like the humps of camels leaning to one side.
Clothed but unclothed. You know, some of the swimwear, if you look at, some of the gymwear, if you look at, like who are you? It's not clothing. كاسيات عارية, clothed but naked. Or if you look at more moderate tafsir, if you like, clothing will be very tight, or it will be see-through, or there will be cuts and slits around the sides and so on and so forth, so that although it pretends it doesn't show, it shows. And the Prophet said, عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم, that they will not smell the fragrance of Jannah, although the smell of Jannah can come from so far, yet these people will be made forbidden for them is that smell, that fragrance of Jannah.
People will walk in the marketplace with their thighs exposed. This sign is very obvious, especially in Western countries. Keep in mind, these events are very recent. Just 100 years ago, even in these countries, the women wore modest clothes. The Prophet said, most certainly people from my nation will consume liquor, which they will describe with some other name. This is a prediction and a reference to the different brands of alcohol that are available today.
Liquor stores are strewn throughout the city of Amman. By law, bars and liquor stores must be owned and run by Christians. No Muslims allowed. However, Muslims are perfectly free to patronize them, and they do.
Our customers are both Christians and Muslims. We don't really have problems here.
There will be many women of childbearing age who will no longer give birth.
Women continue to delay having children, according to new data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The average age for first-time mothers increased from 24 in 2000 to 26 in 2014.
The Prophet said these women will enter the workforce out of love for this world. And this is why they will delay having children.
Researchers believe the trend of waiting to have children will continue as more women focus on career before starting a family and as they pursue fertility options like egg freezing.
In the end times, there will be snub and standoffishness among people. There will be an abundance of food, much of which is no blessing in it. This is clearly a reference to fast food, which has absolutely no nutritional value. Wealth will increase so much so that if a man were given 10,000, he would not be content with it. But the wealth will be shared out only among the rich, with no benefit to the poor. The rich will get richer and richer. Today, the top 1% wealthy people have half of all the wealth in the world. Western corporations are plundering developing countries. The decoration of mosques will be a matter of pride and competition.
Yes.
You know, it's all this money you spending to build this gigantic masjid. You could be helping the poor people, the homeless people, you know.
You know, I'm a little deterred, man. And then you know what? But you know,
So,
Hey, I like how you put it together.
alhamdulillah, brother. You know what, brother? All praises due to Allah that you accepted the invitation to give the knowledge and give the dawah to the people. And would you like to talk about any of that?
Oh yeah, that was a beautiful time, you know. And that, like I said, like they were saying in the video put out, all the stuff that's going on. It's just like it's going on now, you know. I just try to encourage people. Look, you know, we all came from a certain hanging out party and doing all stuff like that, you know. As time go on, you try to get away from that as much as you can, like, and because it ain't after a while, it's not useful for anything, you know. You harm yourself more than anything else. So, you know, and like you said, the faster you get the knowledge to know, like, all this stuff ain't really, it ain't nothing, you know. You
Don't
leave it alone faster. You use your money to help people, because everybody not gonna. Since the beginning of time, it always been a sect of society that was less fortunate than everybody else.
Yes.
Like, I just go one of my favorite rap groups, Dead Prayers, got a line say, "Why be stingy when I can share?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's I'm like, I got abundant of this. Why can't I share with people who don't have nothing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have to ask you something. This is a sensitive question, and you don't have to answer it. I would like to ask you, what is shirk, and why is it unforgivable once you acknowledge that you understand what that individual has told you? What is shirk?
Well, all right. Let me get in Islam. Allah says He's the only thing that's worthy of worship. So if you worship anything other than Him, then that's shirk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's an abomination right there. You know.
Yes.
So like Allah is the one and only.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, He begot, nor is He begotten. Only one worthy of praise.
But brother, I mean, but if you're a nice person, you're a good person, doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, it does.
Why is shirk? Why is shirk elevating something else to a godlike status, a unforgivable sin in Islam, and you're a nice person? Explain that to me. I already know the answer, but
Because Allah said, don't worship nothing other than Him.
yes.
So you like that's like a sin that's unforgivable unless you know. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one gave you life
Yes.
and all your existence. Why would you want to worship something other than me?
Yes. And you know, brother Tyrone.
And then like you said, you could be the nicest person in the world. And I tell people, I'm like, look, I don't care what you. I say I prefer you to accept this deen of Islam, but if you don't, I say it's two things I recommend that you do. If you don't, I say, well, the one is you better acknowledge that it's a power higher than yourself that exists. Then that's the reason why you here.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
then,
I tell people, man, they try to explain. My mother was so nice. My father was so nice. But if they heard of Islam and they disavowed it and they understood, it's a price they got to pay. That's with all due respect.
mm-hmm.
And you know, brother, I got to ask you something because, hey, man, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to, inshallah, I'm going to break fast somewhere tonight. It is Maghrib. It is Maghrib, almost Maghrib in
Yeah.
the United States of America. I know it's Fajr someplace else, it's Asa someplace else, it's Isha someplace else, but it is Maghrib in Chicago, Central. I would like to ask you, brother, I have been asking you a series of questions, but it's incumbent upon me to give you the opportunity to say some things that you might wanted to say that I didn't give you the opportunity to say. So I'm gonna shut my mouth.
Okay. First of all the listeners, y'all check out my man, brother Cliff. His show, The Underground Railroad. He keep it 100. You know, it's just not on. He just don't have stuff about Islam on there. He have things about what's going on in Chicago and world events and things like that. You know, so y'all check him out. The Underground Railroad. That's the first thing, and you know, all the brothers and sisters. I know some people started fasting yesterday. Some started, it was discrepancy of who when the moon was spotted. But anyway, you know, Ramadan Mubarak to all the Muslim brothers and sisters that's out there. I hope y'all Ramadan going fine as of right now. You know, we got what, a couple of hours before we could go in and break this fast or whatever. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, then yeah, like you say, it's almost prayer time too. So, but you got a couple hours before prayer. So, yeah, I'm like you, man.
But what would you like to say about Ramadan to people that know and people that don't know? Would you have a certain message for them and why they should consider coming to Islam?
Yeah, well, Ramadan, it like people with certain illness, like you say, you lose weight. You ain't doing this to lose weight, but you will lose weight. So anybody that's non-Muslim who having a problem losing weight, you don't have to do the whole day. Just start off, little at a time, a few hours or whatever. Any type of vice that you have, like if you're trying to stop smoking, like I'm not gonna smoke during the daylight hours. Any type.
But I'm asking you, why should a person of a different denomination even consider coming to Islam? If you could give us a clarification on that, so we can understand. Not we, I mean, so they can understand.
Well, me,
Why even consider leaving? Let me say it like, why even consider leaving being a Christian, a Jehovah's Witness, or more? And all due respect to those religions, because Muslims respect all the books. Right. Why should they consider coming to Islam? Because there's no compulsion in Islam. Why?
Right. Well, to me, I'm gonna just give them the reason what made me interested in it. It's practical. Everything about this way of life is practical. It's no like, it's simplified, easy. The society make people think it's this crazy type of religion where sometimes people put bombs on them, and that could be further from the truth. That's anybody that's not Islam right there. That's that's not it. This is a practical way of life. Everything about it. Most people that's non-Muslim, I could almost guarantee you doing some form of Islamic thing in your life already, because Islam is the natural way to be. It's the natural way to be. You're like, if from the time you was born, if did nobody teach you anything other than what your natural way would be, this the way you would be anyway.
Yes.
You
So,
know?
so this is why they should consider. They should consider coming to Islam. I believe they should come, but I say consider because there's no compulsion in Islam.
Right. Yeah. And me, my thing, I don't I try to what I do, I try to let how I carry myself be the example. You know, I could tell you all kind of things or whatever, but I prefer to just like me, you know, people. My demeanor, I have a lot of people be like, man, your demeanor, you don't let nothing bother you or nothing like that. I tell them, I say that's that Islam, you know. Islam keep me mellow, flat, clip, you know.
Now you know before we end this broadcast, can you tell people how they can join the Flaming Crescent Society and about the show? And I'm talking about of the Truth Spitters. But lastly, just tell us about how they can join the Flaming Crescent Society.
I think I'm on my Facebook Live. So we use Flaming Crescent Society Facebook page. You could click on the Facebook page, join, reach out to Salim Abdul Khalid, and you get a lot of information. And you want to join either one, you can reach out to me too, you know, or the Minister Ben Willis, Minister Ben, well, James too, James, you know, and yeah, the Flaming Crescent Society, man. Like before I became a part of it, it was something I had been looking for the longest, you know. And I got to thank brother Abdullah Shabazz, because he the one introduced me to Salim. That was one of the greatest times right there, and I got so much love for that, you know.
Yeah, man.
But what Salim was doing, man, I was just like, man, is this brother he doing something? I got so.
And, I want to say something for the masjids. If you live around a local masjid and will support it. And I want to say these masjids, you might have one you want to say. Check out Masjid El Farouk at 8900 South Stony Island in Chicago. Masjid El Fatir. That's where I go. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's better, but that's where I go.
Right.
At 4700 Woodlawn in Manyun. Manyun is on Calumet, but I think I got the address wrong. 37 Calumet and MCC. You can go over there. But this Dean of Islam is spreading, and the enemies hope to extinguish the light of Islam.
And it is it's not spread by force. It's spread by knowledge and people saying how brothers carry themselves.
Yes.
You know, we like you said, there's no compulsion in this. We just here to show you like good character and moral standards among human beings. That's what Islam brings out of you.
And to the enemy that's listening out there, imams are equivalent to preachers. They know that their mosques are being monitored by the CIA, by the FBI, by Homeland Security, and all these people. But the thing is, we don't do nothing against the law anyway.
No.
So you send somebody in dressed up as a serviceman, as a telephone man, or a heating man, and plant cameras there, and you plant microphones there, and you train people to become imams, but we ain't doing nothing against the law anyway.
Right.
See, go ahead.
Hey, like you say, a real Muslim ain't gonna do none of that nonsense that y'all trying to set a masjid up to fall for. You know, and you can send your undercover agents in, pretending to be Muslim, to try to catch the imam saying something like, we're gonna blow up the city or something like that. But a true imam is not gonna waste his time, because that is nonsense right there.
Yeah. And and that message is specifically for the people that have hatred, are intolerant fits for Islam. You know, you can watch us and take pictures of us going in the mosque and film it all day, but we ain't doing nothing against the law anyway. To the enemy, because don't think the enemy, somebody from the enemy ain't looking at this broadcast.
Oh yeah. Hey, all when they go in the masjid, they just praying, and then they get the kutbah on Set Friday, and that's it. Like, and we get charity. I was like, ain't nobody trying to do. I don't know why they believe that, but I do, because Brother Salim says it the best. You know,
So,
like
you know,
what you say. If the Sharia law come, a lot of people that's making money off a lot of this haram stuff is gonna lose out, and so they don't want to lose out on that. I'm like, y'all ain't doing nothing good with the money anyway. So,
see, you know, the little silly, I think I said this yesterday, the little silly imam, man, kills me when they get a microphone in front of them and say, don't you believe in a democracy? You know what? It's so silly to me. It's not silly, but you know what? Muslims, the rank and file believes that under the right conditions, and once the scholars of Islam come to a conclusion that Sharia law is the best thing, it should be the law of the land. But we, you
yeah,
know,
but like that, like you say,
the little imam, the poor little imam with the microphone in front of himself and got notoriety, said, "No, man, we believe in democracy." And you know what? It's funny to me because the rank and file don't even believe it. It's
right.
funny.
Well, even with the Sharia or any, it ain't the way of life. The rules is the people who apply the rules. That's where the problem come in. If you had righteous people in a democratic society, it'll run perfectly. But the people are the ones they the ones that's not doing the proper things. It's just like right now. In the prophet, peace be upon him, he prophesies. He's like, yo, this deen right here, how it's practiced right now, is not going to be practiced the same in the farther years to come, and it's not. You know, it's like it is what it is. You know, it's just, people. It, like one of the brothers said, man, they don't practice Islam, they practice Islam.
Alhamdulillah. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna tell you, some things going on in some mosques. I'm not gonna say where on the east side of Chicago, but I'm gonna leave that like it is. But you know what though? But I still encourage people to go there because they're going there to get the word.
Yeah, I know you talking. I listen.
I'm not gonna say, you know, because
Look, I listen to all. I take what's good and leave what's not good.
yeah, but it's on the east side, but I ain't gonna say. but anyway, and you know what, man, you gonna probably get ready to jump on me. I'm gonna give a thank you to President Joe Biden for letting Muslims from Afghanistan come to the United States of America. And let Haitians know they can come. And Chicago is a sanctuary city. Okay, so sanctuary means you could come in here with no documents and you can get all the rights and privileges of an individual that lives here. So if my taxes gonna be raised, I don't mind paying. You know what I'm saying? That's what sanctuary city. So that all the Muslims that are listening to this.
I disagree with you on that to a certain extent, but I understand where you're coming from, though.
Okay, but all of the Muslims, this is sanctuary city, Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. You don't need no documents. You ain't got to worry about nothing. But go ahead, brother. You want to comment? Go ahead.
Yeah,
brother.
See, that right there, I got a little problem with that.
Go ahead.
Like I told you, you got people that's already here, that's citizens, that can't even get those things that's been trying to get them. So you just overstepping the people of your own country to get to some people who just came here. That's not fair, not to me. Muslim or non-Muslim.
Wow. Oh, okay.
You know, but I'm sympathetic with all human life that's going through something, you know. But you got human beings right here in America citizens, so-called, that's going through
Yeah,
some stuff,
yeah.
man. That the
I
president
understand.
act like he don't care about them sometimes, you know.
Well, brother, I'm for letting all the me myself. I'm for letting all the Muslims that can come because you know what? They're coming with their deen, and some of them are bad, but they're coming with their deen. They're praying 5 times a day. They believe in Allah. They want to pay the zakat. And they took shahada.
Right.
All of them.
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm
I
gonna
would
tell you that
hope that they
I'm
come
gonna
with their
say,
ways and their cultures, and they flood Chicago. You
but
know,
I'm
every
gonna tell you
second
this
room.
though. It's like a lot of those people coming here, man. They look at black people, they shun us, man. Some of them, they don't even think we could be Muslim.
But what the Prophet Muhammad said, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, we will be divided amongst sects.
Yep.
But one day, we will come together. And that is Ummah is one. Prophet
Yeah.
Muhammad said,
Yeah.
not me.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not quoting,
Look,
and I'm not quoting, right?
right. And as of right now, we as Muslims, and I gotta say this, black Muslim, African American, whichever you want to use, we are more acceptable to them, but they not acceptable to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know.
And
I
it's
know
like,
for some. I'm not gonna say 100% of them
no,
because
no, not all of them, not
okay.
all of them, but enough.
hmm But in the end, Allah's will be done.
Yeah.
So thank you, Joe Biden, for leaving Afghanistan. Thank you for letting Muslims from Afghanistan come to the United States of America. And I'm asking y'all to come to Chicago because you know what? All the Muslims here are better. And that's like saying all of a denomination is good. All of a denomination is not good. But you know what? But brother, I'm gonna get off because, like I said, I'm gonna head to a march, inshallah. Allah let me get there and break my fast, and I want to give, to all of the Muslims in Canada, the United States, Central America, uh, Brazil, Purdue. I mean, I don't even think I said that right. Africa, Europe, the UK, Africa, and
Yeah.
the Muslims that are being persecuted in
Those,
China.
those the ones, not just in China. You got Muslims being persecuted in other places too. But like you said, you
Burma.
know, them the ones, like look, that's who I
Mm-hmm.
pray for. Besides my own, like I ask Allah to keep them steadfast and bring them through this turmoil that they going through.
Yes. So you want to do a dua for them before we leave? Can you do a dua for the Muslims, please?
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Oh Allah, grant those that's being persecuted in far lands your protection. Keep them steadfast in your way of life so they may make it through this turmoil. Ameen.
I mean, okay. And you know what I want to tell you? Say I want to say shukran. And I want everybody to know I'm not an expert in Islam. I'm not even an expert in television and radio. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know. There are people that know way, way more Islam than me. And
Me
people that
too.
know television way better than me. But you know what? This is what I have been got a manifestation to do to disseminate information about Islam. I'm a user her, and I heard that and all that. I'm not a scholar. But you know what? I'm doing
Neither
it
am
to the
I.
best. Yes.
I'm, I'm,
And
I'm I'm just here. I'm just here to help those who need help. Where I
mhm,
can fit in at.
mhm. But ashadu la ilaha illallah, ashadu I think I said it right. Ashadu la ilaha illallah,
There's no
ashadu
God but Allah. Yeah.
ashadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah. See, I'm not the expert, but you
And
know
neither am
what?
I.
But you know what? But we're doing the will of Allah. And you know what? I would like to say the good that came from us came from Allah, and the bad that came from us come from ourselves. So the Muslims in Saudi Arabia at the Hajj and looking at this, I'd like to be there one day. So
Inshallah, we all will.
And y'all carry on. So, brother, I want to thank you, brother. And like I
Thank
say,
you. Thank you.
I'm very gracious that you, and I want to add one other question. People, please, if you like this, please, I ask for your prayers to help me in my work and make a donation. I have a PayPal account. The money that I use is being put back in my platform. Okay, so I ask for all of that, but I know I won't get any more than what Allah wants me to have. No matter who's laughing, I think it's funny. It's okay because you know you're not in control. Allah is in control. I get exactly what Allah wants me to have. Any finishing words, brother?
Yo, y'all check out the Flaming Crescent Society and Underground Railroad.
And in the mouth of Minister Ben Willis and David Coss. Okay. Thank you, brother. Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak to you, brother.
Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak.
Alhamdulillah. So that's so the people that have been listening, I want to say thank you, and I am gracious. If there's one person that looks at this platform, somebody once told me, man, don't nobody care about Islam, but it's okay. If one person look at this and it changes and transforms their life, I've done my mission.
I also like to say,
my assignment.
If I made any mistakes with this Dane, if I misquoted anything, forgive me. Mm-hmm. I'm like you say, I'm not an expert.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
I just suggest people, pick up that book, the Quran,
mm-hmm.
And learn the Sunnah, the way of the Prophet. May Allah peace and blessings be upon them.
Yes.
And you can get a better understanding.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to get ready to sign off, brother, and give you assalamu alaikum. And you know what? If it's Allah's will, we'll be able to do it again. I'm going to try to get a brother on Abu Bakr. And you know what, Brother James, I'm going to reach out to him and see what he thinks about Ramadan.
And another thing, hey, you could, because you be having a lot of shit. Look, we ain't got to just talk about Islam.
This is Ramadan, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, for further notice, I'm knowledgeable on some other things too, I think.
Okay. I was just trying to, for this month, really, because you know what? Every Muslim has a different interpretation that has been affected by Islam, and they have a different thing about why they became a Muslim and what does Ramadan mean to them. And that's what I'm gonna make an attempt to. I'm gonna deviate because Thursday, inshallah, I'm doing a show on nutrition.
Right.
Does this with Medina Nance, if it's all right.
Yeah, let's see. Like, Islam deal with nutrition too. So yeah, you still on it.
I remember that, brother. I remember that. Okay. All right, my brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Rabada with the kat.
Let me talk. Okay. So people that are looking, I want to, thank you. And I want to thank the brother for consenting of his time to be on the Underground Railroad television show. And I want to say thank you to my sponsors. The Citizen Suburban newspaper at 8720 Greenwood. Buy an ad with them. Buy an ad with them. I send them some money. Okay. Rick's Buffalo Shop in Chicago. If you come to Chicago and your car breaks down and you got a family member and the car broke down, he's an honest mechanic at 8300 South Commercial. Yeah, Stan the man. That's where I get my hair cut. My hair looks bad. It's not because of him, but he's the greatest barber in Chicago. He sanitizes his equipment at 7909 South Jeffrey in Chicago, Illinois. Okay. And let me see, the camera shop, Royals Camera Shop in Hanover Park. And these people, they support me. And you know what? I'm appreciative. And I don't, you know what? I'll say that. And Shaymar Media Productions. If you need video production done in the Chicago area, we do television shows. We shoot events, PSAs. We will go to a press conference for you to get the footage that you need. And appreciative. And like I say, to all the Muslims that are being persecuted in China, in Burma, in ostracized, Islam, for 4K, for the UK, Indonesia. You know what? Saudi Arabia, you're not being oppressed. And Muslims on the Hajj. I hope that you will pray for me. I will pray for you. And I know whatever Allah wants me to have, I have. Whatever Allah doesn't want me to have, it's okay. Because all these material things ain't going to make no difference anyway. And Brother Tyrone, he's an intelligent brother that loves Allah. And it was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be able to give dawah. Dawah means to give the invitation to Islam. Because this may be the very thing that saved me from the hellfires. Because in spite of some people not believing in God, which is their right, there is a heaven, there is a hell. But this may be the very thing that saved me from the hellfires. You know? So I'm going to give everybody the words of Assalamu alaikum. And you know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this one more time. And then we go with a man. And they are not married, and they really believe that that man loves them and respects them, and he uses them as I'm going to play this. As an important. I'm going to play this for you, and what I'm going to do is I am going to close out. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to close out, okay? And I'm going to thank the people at Real Stream. I will put my link in the description, and I hope you will join it because you join it. That helps my platform. And you know what? They do a good job. In my opinion, they're better than Melon Screaming out. They're comparable on the same level with StreamYard, but it's the same price. But they are a dynamic. They have 24-hour service for this live stream. And you know what? I'm going to put the description in there later on. So I'm going to play this, okay? And we're going to go out.
Important in Islam to be married.
The deen is the way, basically the way of life, the way a Muslim should conduct itself in this society. Marriage is if you want to start a family, marriage, you don't, having kids out of wedlock, and I done seen this, and it is an exception to every rule, but me growing up, I had my mother and father in the house with me all my life. I never knew nothing else. No other man, no other woman, but my mother and my father. Now, some of the people I grew up with who didn't have both parents in their house, I seen how their life was. You know, how they treated other people, particularly females. Because most of them, they grew up without a father. So a lot of them, very disrespectful to females, you know. So the marriage is the beginning of family, you know. You want a strong family, you got to have man and woman.
I would like that. Oh, go ahead.
In a marriage, you know.
I would like to ask you, so many non-believers, I'm sure you got some Muslims too, believe that it is okay to live with a man and engage in sexual intercourse with a man, and they are not married and they really believe that that man loves them and respects them, and he uses them as a sexual tool. King, why would a woman have that type of mindset to let a man go inside of them and they're not even married to him? Why?
That's
and let me ask you, and does that go against the teaching in the Bible? Does it go against the teaching in the Quran and the Torah and the Injil? Does it?
Abundance of police squads and oppressive officials who wield whips the size of the tails of cattle. Men will begin to look like women, and women will begin to look like men.
And there are many signs that should be troubling to people. The Prophet predicted same-sex marriage. I mean, that's a sound hadith. He said the end of time will not come until a man marries a man and a woman marries a woman.
Sports today, Ireland became the first country in the world to pass a constitutional referendum allowing same-sex marriage.
This is the moment same-sex supporters...
And we have no evidence in human history that that was ever... We have no evidence that any culture has ever sanctioned same-sex marriage. But he said it will be one of the signs of the end of time. He said you will see nikah al-rajul al-rajul, wa nikah al-mar'ati al-mar'a. And nikah here means clearly marriage, because homosexuality existed, so he wasn't talking about homosexuality or musahaqa. He was talking about marriage. You know, he predicted that the buildings of Mecca would surpass the mountains. Who could have thought of that in the 7th century of Arabia? Who could have thought of that? He predicted that people would go out of their houses with things on their thighs that would tell them what was happening back in their families. He said that people would talk to shiraku na'alihi, which in Arabic, shiraku na'al is this. That is what a shiraku na'ali, which is the universal sign today for telephone. And he said a man will talk to his shiraku na'al. You know, that's how people say it, right? The Arabs call that shiraku na'al. The Prophet ﷺ predicted many things that have come true. That in the 7th century in Arabia, it just would not have been possible to predict those things, or they wouldn't even occur to people.
The Prophet said children born outside of marriage will become commonplace.
In Colombia, more than 8 out of every 10 children are born to unwed mothers.
But the actual percent of U.S. births to unmarried women has gone up a lot. 2002, 34% of all births. 2013, 40.6% of all births in the U.S.
In 1960, 5% of children entered the world without a mother and father married to each other. By 1980, it was 18%. By 2000, it had risen to 33%, and 15 years later, the number reached 41%.
The Prophet said, in the end times, obesity would become prevalent.
Well, the explosion of overweight and obese people in the developing world is largely down to the emerging economies, those that have gone through a transition from being low-income economies to middle-income economies in the last generation. And that has produced a large middle class of people who have rising incomes and they can buy the foods they want, and they're undertaking more sedentary lifestyles.
Smog will appear over cities because of the evil that they are doing.
India's second largest city, New Delhi, remains shrouded in dangerously thick smog.
Problem affecting a huge swathe of northern China at the moment, with a pollution cloud hanging over this country from the Russian border in the far northeast all the way down to the central cities.
The Prophet said great distances will be traversed in short spans of time. And voices will be raised in mosques. Rain will be acidic or burning.
Acid rain is any form of precipitation with high levels of nitric and sulfuric acid. It can occur in the form of snow, fog, and even dry
incomes and they can buy the foods they want, and they're undertaking more sedentary lifestyles.
Smoke will appear over cities because of the evil that they are doing.
India's second largest city, New Delhi, remains shrouded in dangerously thick smog.
Problem affecting a huge swathe of northern China at the moment, with a pollution cloud hanging over this country from the Russian border in the far northeast all the way down to the central cities.
The Prophet said great distances will be traversed in short spans of time. And voices will be raised in mosques. Rain will be acidic or burning.
Acid rain is any form of precipitation with high levels of nitric and sulfuric acid. It can occur in the form of snow, fog, and even dry mud.
So, you know what? Say assalamu alaikum to everybody. And you have been looking at the Underground Railroad television show in the United States of America in Chicago, Illinois. And it is time for Maghrib. And it's time to pray soon. May you have a great Ramadan, whether it is Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Aisha. You have a great one. Please send me your prayers, and I always send my prayers out to the Islamic community and mankind. Always do. And try to the best of my ability to give the best show that I could. And all I can just say is all praises to Allah. I'm gonna make my wudu, make my prayers if Allah allows. But I'm attempting to get more good deeds written down. See, there's an angel on each side of every living being. There's an angel on the left, angel on the right, and angel on the left. And that angel is recording every single thing you do, whether you believe it or not. This is not Ripley's Believe It or Not television show. In your deeds, you will be accounted for on, as you may say, the day of judgment, or the day of Yama Kiyama, you will be accounted. And if you said you understood Islam, but you rejected it, that's your right. That's your right. But who knows? You know, my teacher said over in there's a masjid in Harvey. There's an Islamic community in Harvey. Mr. Dana, brother Dana, Mr. Dana, he's a doctor. He said, "Who knows? Muslims may be wrong. They may be right." He said, "But he said I'm 99.9% sure that I'm right." That's what my teacher said. And you know what? But there's no compulsion in Islam. You know, all I can do is convey the message. Okay, so I'm gonna get everybody to. And I forgot to say Alaska. Hey, yeah, to the Muslims to Alaska and Australia. Okay, so I'm gonna say the greeting words of Assalamu Alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak to everybody. Assalamu Alaikum.